Is Vladimir Putin a war criminal?
There's no doubt he is a war criminal. A war targeting civilians and indiscriminately bombing civilian sites like hospitals, targeting for sniper fire, people that are fleeing through a humanitarian corridor is a de facto war crime.
What most concerns you about this Ukraine situation? I know you're briefed on a lot of intelligence from where you sit. What keeps you up at night about this?
Well, what I think the most worrisome part of it is that Putin is actually in a very impossible position. Okay, there's no victory for him in Ukraine. Victory, the best case scenario for him is a protracted and costly military victory, followed by a very costly and painful long-term military occupation, which he can't afford and would face a persistent insurgency. That's his best case scenario. His worst case scenario is a military quagmire that ends in humiliation. I'm deeply concerned that he would expand this to Transnistria, which is a breakaway region of Moldova, where there are already Russian troops. I'm concerned about the use of chemical or biological weapons as a false flag to blame NATO and Ukraine for. I'm concerned about him targeting the supply convoys that are coming into Ukraine from NATO countries, which would in turn raise the stakes and the possibility of a conflict with NATO, which would turn into a broader one.
President Biden announcing that he's going to stop the import of Russian oil. Is that enough?
Well, it's the right thing to do. We import about 200,000 barrels of Russian oil a day. It's about, less than 8% of our total petroleum products. And we can easily make up for it by producing American oil. I don't understand what the opposition to that is. How is a barrel of oil produced in America any worse for the climate than a barrel of oil from Saudi Arabia or a barrel of oil from Canada or a barrel of oil from anywhere else on the planet? And so I think it's something we can do. We can very quickly, experts tell me within less than 6 months, be in a position where we've more than made up for it through domestic production. And that's what we should be doing. That should be the plan.
Meanwhile, Americans here at home seeing the price at the pump continue to go up as a result of all of this. And when we talk about the economy, we're talking about not just gas prices, but inflation, which has been an ongoing problem, as you know, for several months, but it's really ramped up in the last several weeks here. What would you like to see the White House do about inflation, and what can the Senate do?
Well, first of all, what we should have done is important to talk about. We knew that conflict was coming. I knew, and this administration knew as early as late last year, that an invasion of Ukraine was highly likely. We knew that an invasion of Ukraine would lead to higher oil prices. Anytime oil producing countries are involved in a conflict, oil prices go up. They were already going up. And we should have begun to put in place the ability to replace not just Russian oil, but to add to more of our own domestic production as a way of lowering prices. We know OPEC and others are simply not going to increase production. We knew that. We should have started working on that months ago. Now that's what we should be doing. Beyond that, I think it's pretty clear that the price of all kinds of goods are high for two reasons. One is the disruptions created by COVID and COVID restrictions that have kept a lot of places closed. We have a chronic shortage of truckers and people willing to drive trucks. And we have a lot of regulations that keep some truckers from operating in certain states if they're not unionized and so forth. Those should be gotten rid of. And in addition to that, this is the perfect opportunity right now for this country to focus on returning supply chains to this country. America has to be a place that makes more things again. Both Ukraine and that conflict and before that COVID has revealed to us how vulnerable our supply chains are, how overextended they are in places far away, and any disruption, be it a war or being cut off, but deliberately, could put us into economic chaos.
How do you assess the Republican Party these days? Is it still the party of Donald Trump, or is there room for different options, perhaps yourself in 2024?
Well, I'm not even thinking about 2024, frankly, because I have my own election in 2022, and there's a lot going on here and a lot of work I have to do here and some things I'd like to finish here in the Senate. But I'll say about the Republican Party, look, Donald Trump is the most popular, most influential Republican in the country. But our party has and continues to be a diverse party. It is a party that have people with all kinds of views, from Senator Collins in Maine to Senator Cruz in Texas. We have a wide range of different views on things. There is a lot more ideological diversity in the Republican Party than there is in the Democratic Party. In the Democratic Party, no matter what your personal views may be, if you don't fall in line with leadership, they crack down on you. And you can ask Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona what that means. You can ask Joe Manchin what that means. Kyrsten Sinema today is the target of a detailed, specific, and committed effort to destroy her from within the Democratic Party, because they do not tolerate differences of views on ideology and how they vote. That's not true in the Republican Party. We have a lot of diversity in our party. And as I said, I don't have to agree with every view in our party to understand that, that generally that diversity is good. Obviously, not crazies and hate mongers, but certainly people that have concrete ideas that they're offering.
Do you think Governor Ron DeSantis has done a good job in Florida as governor? Do you agree with all of his policies? Would you have done anything differently?
I think he's done a good job in Florida, absolutely. And I think the proof of it is the people moving to Florida. Florida leads the nation in the number of people moving there. People don't generally move to a place that they think is bad or doing poorly. Our economy's stronger, our schools are doing better. All around, our conditions in Florida are tough. We're still the same high gas prices, the same inflation, but we are doing better than the rest of the country because of the way he responded to COVID. And it was a great risk, to do it that way. He took a lot of criticism for doing it. But I think the proof is people are moving to Florida, not leaving Florida.